Another request video. This one's on Harano. Um, yeah, the books themselves are a bit skimpy on explaining exactly what causes Harano and what the effects are, especially from a mechanical standpoint. Okay, what causes it? It can be any number of things. Usually, it's got a lot to do with the death of one's comrades, the death of innocents, just the worm's work in general. Seeing it winning, basically, it becomes a bit much for the Garuda bear. I mean, in a lot of ways, it's like Cthulhu. The more you see, the closer you come to madness. In this case, the madness is Harano. Um, there is no real mechanic on exactly how much it's going to affect you. Good role players will do it themselves. Um, I mean, I have a player right now who's been around for a long time. She has seen dozens and dozens of compatriots die and has been responsible for a handful of them. And she's put herself on the verge of Harano um, through her own role playing, which I give her kudos for. Other than that, a lot of times players might not necessarily be that strong, or they're not going to want to realize that they're in that, they're close to that state. They kind of get the whole D&D mentality of, oh, another adventure's dead. Just keep on playing. Um, or the warped vampire mentality. I mean, vampires are supposed to have humanity, which is supposed to balance out, some of the killing instinct and such, because it's supposed to be a beast I am less the beast I become. Organized LARP has kind of ruined that in a lot of ways, because most people, they'll kill haphazardly and they don't expect any kind of repercussions. In Werewolf, it's your sanity that starts to go. So storytellers should have a rough grasp. The more somebody sees, the closer they should get to it. And there should, eventually be some big things that could push them over the edge. So you really got to rely on your staff to make competent and logical decisions in that regard. Okay, now once somebody does go over the edge, okay, at that point, mechanically, we give them the flaw Harano prone. Because once you've been in Harano, you can fall back in easily. Okay, so that's a permanent thing we've put in there. Although I suppose a trip to the Child of God, homelands, and the bonding of a heart guide to somebody could actually destroy that merit or that flaw. But for the most part, it's there. Okay, now once you're in Harano, usually about 90 to 95% of the time, it's going to be a deep depression. It's going to be bouts of a fugue state, where they just kind of zone out. They don't hear anything. They're kind of living, it's almost like PTSD. I said that wrong. Because they're kind of reliving their nightmares, and they're kind of dreading the next one, seeing the face of the dead, such like that. Now, mechanically, you can give various derangements out to reflect parts of that, if you so choose. Okay, that's going to have to be something between the storyteller and the individual players, because you have to actually kind of assess exactly how strong a role player they are and whether or not they need that derangement on their sheet in order to fully acclimate the Harano itself. Rather than like fugue states and such like that, a lot of times you get a lot of cynicism in there. Basically, what's the point? We're losing. Why are we going to go fight the worm? It's a losing battle anyway. I'd rather just be sitting here twiddling my thumbs than going out there. Why would I want to go out there and watch you die? What are you talking about hope? You're already, I'm looking at walking corpses. You're already dead at this point. It's hopeless. It's, it can be played up in a number of ways, but most often it's going to be in that fashion. The other 5 to 10% tend to go a different direction. In my mind, their mentality snaps all together, and they go into functionally a self-destructive mode. It's almost like a suicidal mode. It's the equivalent of getting dark fate on your sheet. You're going to basically go overboard. You're going to go out in a blaze of glory, although it might not be that glorious. I mean, because it's going to be stupid. You might sit there and go, okay, well, we know where the Black Spiral Hive is, and rather than gather forces, I'm going to go in there and kill them all myself. Okay, so I'm going to die or get captured and be corrupted. Um, it happens. Sometimes, depending on the degree of Harano, that's always a good time to shelve a character, because if the characters that are around are not equipped to try to handle it or not willing to, um, a lot of times the character becomes unplayable. A lot of times they leave. I can't be a part of this sept. So they'll go someplace where there's little guru presence. They'll move into a little shack and start fishing with the hopes that no guru will find them. And they won't change shape again. They're going to try to stay as a human or a wolf because they're at that point where they've given up being a guru for a while. That's why there's renown to be given out for somebody who finds, and brings back a guru that has been lost in Harano. So that's about the best I can say at this point when it comes to Harano. It's in a lot of ways, it's almost like an advanced role-playing technique. Only the best players are going to be able to play it effectively. Um, I don't think a lot of the newbies and the players that are still growing into their own are going to give it the true justice it needs and the full effect. So keep in mind the shelving. You really have to make up your own mechanics. Like I said, I recommend Harano Prone. I recommend looking at some of the derangements and flaws that you can possibly tack on, even maybe some neg traits or something like that. You should, if you should give them every aspect that they need to play. For stronger role players, you don't really need to do much because they're going to do it themselves. But don't be surprised when a player comes in and says, I have to leave. I can't play this character right now because of the way it is. It's a good reason to shelve it. Maybe they can come back to it. There might be a story unto itself later on where you're going to, have somebody going to try to get that renown, to try to save that character. And maybe that person's, kind of going, oh, wait a minute. I might be able to get him back out of Harano. Let's play it. You really got to talk to the players. Don't just spring it on them because, hell, I might be in the middle of playing a great character, and then all of a sudden you're going to give me back the one who was in Harano. Now I have a choice. Do I go with the character that I've kind of in my head settled that he's gone for now? Or do I go with the one that I'm playing right now, which I probably got a whole lot more story to tell on? Okay, that's it. I hope it helped. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them to me, and I'll see what I can do to answer them. Peace out.